Precision-guided munitions. Imagine dropping a bomb from 20,000 feet and threading it through a single window. For most of history, that was impossible. In World War II, entire bomber groups could miss a bridge by hundreds of meters. Today, one plane, one weapon, one target. That leap is the story of precision-guided munitions, smart bombs. It began late in the Vietnam War. Engineers figured out that if you paint a target with a laser and give the bomb small steering fins, the weapon can ride that reflected light down. Suddenly, those impossible targets, bridges, bunkers, hardened depots, were getting destroyed with a fraction of the sorties. The idea worked so well it redefined expectations. Instead of carpeting an area, you could pick a point. The world really noticed in 1991 during the Gulf War. Those green, grainy cockpit videos showed bombs curving into doorways and sliding down ventilation shafts. Overnight buying smart bomb became a household phrase. Air power started to look surgical. Here's the quick breakdown. Laser-guided bombs home in on a laser spot and in clear weather can land within a few meters. GPS and inertial weapons, think JDAM, use satellites and onboard sensors to guide through clouds, smoke, or night. Link them to targeting pods, drones, and data networks, and you get a kill chain that finds, fixes, and finishes targets with far fewer aircraft and far less collateral damage. That changed strategy. Precision let commanders shut down power, sever bridges, and crack command bunkers without leveling entire neighborhoods. Ground forces had to disperse, conceal, and keep moving. Intelligence became as important as explosives. But precision isn't magic. A precise weapon still needs a precise target. Bad intel leads to a perfectly placed mistake. Lasers struggle in rain or smoke. GPS can be jammed or spoofed. And even a small miss on the wrong building is still a tragedy. Smart bombs transformed area bombing into point-and-click warfare. When the click is backed by satellites, sensors, and analysts, they didn't make war clean. They made it selective. And that changed the battlefield forever. Imagine one weapon so terrifying it didn't just change battles, it changed the rules of war. In 1945, we split the atom, and history snapped. It starts with a chain reaction. In a fission body, a neutron smashed into uranium or plutonium, and the atom split in a blink, releasing a flood of energy. Shockwave, fire, radiation. Thermonuclear designs go a step further, using that first blast to ignite fusion, the same process that powers the sun. That's how big becomes city-ending. Proof arrived fast. Trinity, July 16, 1945. The first nuclear explosion in the New Mexico desert. 3 weeks later, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yields in the tens of kilotons, yet downtowns vanished in seconds. By year's end, well over 100,000 people were dead. One bomb, one city, no precedent. Then came the arms race. The US and the Soviet Union built tens of thousands of warheads, mounting them on bombers, submarines, and intercontinental missiles. Strategy flipped from, how do we win, to deterrence, the grim logic of mutually assured destruction. If either side launched, both sides would die. 13 days in October 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis, brought the world to the cliff's edge. And in 1983, a Soviet officer named Stanislav Petrov judged a computer alert to be a false alarm and didn't report it up the chain. Quiet decisions like that may be why we're still here. Nukes didn't end war. They changed its shape. Great powers stopped fighting each other directly and shifted to proxy wars, sabotage, and spies. Treaties tried to slow the spiral. Test bans, non-proliferation, arms reductions. But today, 9 countries still hold nuclear weapons. Modern warheads can be dialed down to tactical kiloton levels or boosted to multi-megaton monsters. The physics hasn't changed. Only the delivery systems and the politics have. And here's the twist. Precision doesn't matter when the blast, heat, and radiation are this vast. Fallout rides the wind. An electromagnetic pulse can black out a region in microseconds. A single decision can erase a city and bend the climate beyond it. Nuclear weapons didn't make war winnable. They made certain wars unthinkable and forced the world to live with that thought every day since 1945. Imagine packing firepower, armor, and speed into one machine and then driving it straight through a battlefield that used to be impassable. That's the promise of the tank. Turn a stalemate into a breakthrough. The idea was born in World War I. In 1916, crude British landships crawled onto the Somme, and a year later at Cambrai, they showed what tanks could do when used together. Crush wire, cross trenches, and carry infantry forward under armor. The interwar thinkers, Fuller in Britain, Guderian in Germany, Tukhachevsky in the USSR, added the missing ingredient, radios. Once tanks could talk to each other, they could maneuver as a fist instead of scattered fingers. World War II turned theory into shock. Blitzkrieg wasn't magic tanks. It was tanks tied to fast infantry, artillery, engineers, and aircraft. The German Panzer Division smashed through Poland and France. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet T-34 combined sloped armor, a powerful gun, and mass production to overwhelm a better-trained enemy. In North Africa, desert flatlands became a chessboard for armor, Rommel, Montgomery, and miles of mobile warfare. After 1945, the tank matured into the main battle tank, one class to do it all. Guns grew from 75 millimeters to 105 millimeters and 120 to 125 millimeter smoothbores. Sights stabilized, night vision arrived. Armor evolved from steel to composite and reactive packages, think Chobham, shrugging off many hits that once killed. But the battlefield hit back. 1973's Yom Kippur War showed how anti-tank missiles could burn tanks at range. The answer was better tactics, smoke, and combined arms. Then, in 1991, US M1 Abrams and British Challengers used thermal sights and long-range sabot rounds to destroy Iraqi armor, often before the enemy even saw them. Today, the duel continues. Top attack missiles and loitering drones hunt from above. Active protection systems like Trophy try to swat them from the air. Urban streets are deadly. Open terrain is a sensor field, and the tank's job, break through, hold ground, deliver shock, now depends more than ever on the team around it. Infantry, engineers, electronic warfare, and air cover. The tank didn't just restore movement to war, it forced every army to rethink how to fight. Next up, the weapon that made the tank necessary in the first place, the machine gun. Imagine stepping into no man's land and hearing a single sound that decides everything. A ripping buzz that turns open ground into a death zone. That sound, born in the late 1800s, was the machine gun, and it rewired warfare. It starts with Hiram Maxim in 1884. His recoil-operated gun could fire hundreds of rounds per minute with one trigger pull. Armies noticed. By World War I, water-cooled guns like the Vickers and MG-08 dominated the battlefield. Barbed wire stopped you. Machine guns finished you. On the Somme in 1916, British troops advanced into interlocking fields of fire. The lesson was brutal and unmistakable. The defense now had the advantage. Tactics had to change. Instead of glorious charges, you got creeping barrages, infiltration teams, and night raids. After the war, the machine gun moved from fortress to infantry doctrine. Light guns, Lewis BAR, gave squads mobile fire. The Germans perfected the idea with the MG-34 and MG-42. Belt-fed guns so fast soldiers nicknamed the MG-42 Hitler's buzzsaw. The machine gun wasn't just a weapon, it was the base of fire. Pin them down, then maneuver to finish. Mechanization only strengthened it. Tanks added coaxial and pintle-mounted guns. Aircraft bristled with them. Vehicles carried heavy machine guns like the .50 caliber Browning for range and punch. By the Cold War, you see the general-purpose machine gun GPMG, 7.62 NATO guns like the FNMAG/M240, and the Soviet PKM, serving on bipods, tripods, and vehicles. At the squad level, lighter LMGS/SAWS give constant suppression while riflemen move. Here's the core idea machine guns burned into strategy. Firepower shapes movement. You don't attack into a beaten zone, you create one for the enemy and force them to hide, halt, or break. Even in today's drone and sensor battlespace, nothing replaces sustained, accurate automatic fire to control ground. The machine gun ended the age of massed charges and birthed modern combined arms tactics. Picture a battlefield where soldiers still stand shoulder to shoulder, loading smoothbore muskets that can barely hit a target past 80 to 100 yards. Then, almost overnight, the physics changes. Rifling, the shallow spiral grooves inside the barrel, starts to spin the bullet, and accuracy jumps from pray and spray to aim and hit. The problem was loading. Tight-fitting round balls were slow to ram down a fouled barrel, until one clever fix unlocked modern infantry firepower. Enter the Minié ball. Not a ball at all, but a conical, hollow-based bullet. Invented in the mid-1800s, it slid easily down the barrel like a musket round. When fired, gas pressure flared the soft lid skirt outward, grabbing the rifling and taking the spin. Suddenly, you could load fast and shoot accurate. The effect was brutal. Effective ranges jumped to 300 to 500 yards for line infantry, and skilled shots could reach even farther. Volley fire at distance became lethal. Officers on horseback, gunners at their pieces, and advancing columns were all exposed in ways they hadn't been before. You see the first shock in the Crimean War, 1853 to 56. At Alma and Inkerman, attackers advancing in neat ranks met accurate, sustained fire. But the full lesson arrived in the American Civil War. Armies marched in with Napoleonic tactics, flags flying, lines closing, only to be cut down by men with Springfield and Enfield, rifled muskets loaded with Minié ammunition. Think Antietam, Fredericksburg, Pickett's charge at Gettysburg. Frontal assaults across open ground turned into kill zones. Tactics scrambled to catch up. Infantry spread out, hugged cover, and dug in. Earthworks and trenches appeared everywhere. Skirmish lines, not tight formations, led the way. Artillery was pushed back to longer ranges. Battlefield medicine changed too. The soft-lid Minié shattered bones and mangled limbs, driving the air's high rate of amputations. Here's the quiet revolution. Long before the machine gun, the rifled musket plus Minié ball made massed charges obsolete. It forced dispersion, cover, and fortification. It nudged generals toward reconnaissance, entrenchment, and combined arms. In a few short years, infantry combat jumped from the age of muskets to the doorstep of modern war.